Jason Fitzgerald of Over the Cap tweeted out earlier today, how much cap space can be created by extending players with void years? Vikings lead the NFL in potential cap space saved. He goes on to share a link breaking down how that exactly works in terms of saving cap for 2024. And I've talked about this ad nauseum already, guys like Kirk Cousins and Marcus Davenport, and he's not wrong with what he's saying in terms of saving cap space for 2024. Because instead of taking that large lump sum of a dead cap hit for those guys not to be on the roster, you re-sign those players and it goes back into a prorated bonus year by year basis as long as those players remain on the team. I used to be a believer of the mantra, hashtag the cap is a myth. That is a lie. It doesn't matter how many times, how many holes that you dig, hiding money around to restructure these contracts and getting the instant gratification of saving cap space now. Every dollar that you spend on a player, at some point, you have to face the music. Whether that's early cap savings now to push heavier cap hits towards the end of that contract or pushing more money down the road with void years. And if I'm the Vikings, I'm not interested in extending players to further delay the mess that I created. Marcus Davenport and Kirk Cousins, they combined for $35.3 million in a dead cap hit in 2024. If I'm the Vikings, eat it now. Take the hits for a brighter tomorrow. Dude, the Green Bay Packers, after trading Aaron Rodgers, they took a $40 million dead cap hit to the chin. And did that stop them from competing? No, they made it to the playoffs. They drafted well. They made it to the playoffs. They nearly went to the NFC Championship game. That didn't stop them. Stop being afraid, the cap space and we need to shave some money and figure out ways. For what? Be done with it now. Start fresh in 2025. Give yourselves a clean slate. And to expound further on what I talked about yesterday as far as shifting the focus to emulate what the San Francisco 49ers do. Dude, the Niners, John Lynch is, I would say, the best GM in the league. What the Niners have done so well over the years, they've nailed their draft picks. If necessary, they'll make a big trade for big players, guys like Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Chase Young, and they'll spend big money on Javon Hargrave. All these resources they use to load up their roster to be the perfect setup for a quarterback to come in and have the highest floor possible. A competent quarterback. Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in last year's draft. I'm not here to sit here and debate whether Brock Purdy is, in the words of Cam Newton, a game manager or a game changer. I'm not here to do that. What I am here to say is that it makes his job a hell of a lot easier when he can hand the ball off to Christian McCaffrey, when he has a Swiss Army knife in Deebo Samuel, when he can throw the ball up to Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle, when he has Trent Williams blocking his blind side, when he's got a hell of a defense to get him the ball back when he messes up. That's what the Vikings need to do. It's those free agent dollars, instead of putting that into the quarterback position, Kirk Cousins, which case has gotten us nowhere, take that money and invest it everywhere else. If the report is true, Charlie Walters from the Pioneer Press, saying that the buzz is that Kirk Cousins is going to want 2 years, $90 million. That's $45 million per year. Which is better? Kirk Cousins at $45 million per year, or Justin Matabuke, the defensive tackle, or the 3-4 defensive end from Baltimore, along with Antoine Winfield Jr., who combined have a market value of $38.5 million per year. Which is better, that or Kirk Cousins at 45? You know what you're not going to accomplish with Kirk. Why not put that money elsewhere? 2 young stud defensive players that are going for their second contract this offseason. You've got them in their prime for a while if you're the Vikings and go that route. And that's before you go into the draft. And we've done plenty of mock drafts, multiple mock drafts, where the defensive line is the main focus. Your defense is going to be so much better next year compared to what it was last year under the direction of Brian Flores. It's impossible to fix everything, all the holes that must be addressed with this team before you can be truly competitive. But you need to start at some point, and maybe in 2 or 3 years, you'll be right there where you want to be, to where you set up a plug-and-play situation for a quarterback that doesn't have to necessarily knock your socks off. Just be competent. You can have a great defense, great playmakers. And all of a sudden, instead of waiting for this angel quarterback to fall down from the sky, you can get by with quarterbacks that aren't necessarily the top of the line when it comes to the draft. And speaking of the draft, did another one. In this case, assuming that we did sign Justin Madubuike and Antoine Winfield Jr., sticking with the NFL mock draft database, trading down from 11. Yesterday went from 11 to 14. This time we're going from 11 to 18, trading with the Cincinnati Bengals while picking up pick 49. That's going to be your second round pick. At pick 18, the Vikings select, keeping it the same as I did yesterday, Jarrett Verse, edge rusher out of Florida State. At pick 42, J.J. McCarthy, there's your quarterback. At pick 49, going to switch it up here, Jackson Powers Johnson, center out of Oregon. You upgraded the center position going from Bradbury to Jackson Powers Johnson. At pick 108, McKinley Jackson, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. Maybe he can be an immediate starter. Worst case, you can at least have some depth. And at pick 129, I'm standing on business, investing in this defensive line. Darius Robinson, defensive tackle out of Missouri. At pick 155, Tyron Hopper, linebacker out of Mizzou. 164, Javion Cohen, interior offensive lineman from the U. 178, at this point, I'm just hell-bent on Torrey Taylor being a member of the Minnesota Vikings, being our new punter. And at pick 189, Kamal Haddon, corner out of Tennessee. So as you can see here, the Vikings have multiple choices or multiple different directions that they can go down. All the different mock drafts that I have done, a combination of multiple different names, including potential free agent signings, that you can immediately upgrade your defensive line. In the case of here, Justin Madubuike, Harrison Phillips remains at nose tackle, even though that's a little bit Jarrett Verse, your edge rusher. Bring back Daniil Hunter. Obviously, he's going to start opposite of Jarrett Verse. McKinley Jackson has a chance to be that second 3-4 defensive end. Antoine Winfield Jr. upgraded your center position. That's a start. And then the year after that, you can address the corners if need be. You can get a running back. Although you can draft a running back late. You can find them anywhere, and they can be immediate contributors. But reinvest that money, free agency, instead of going down the Kirk Cousins path again that gets you nowhere. I'd rather put that money, spread that money around the rest of this roster. It's time.